Welcome back to Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones here as House Darklyn. Now, we're in a very dire situation at the moment, and we tried to seek solace with the Faith of the Seven, but all it really did was strain our relationship with our wife, who is still following the Red Guard and refusing to convert to the Faith of the Seven, and somehow that broke her spell over us. We find her oddly repulsive now. She's a cruel woman, really, and very ambitious, annoyingly ambitious, almost, and also extremely paranoid. So honestly, not really a lovely person to be around, but in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really matter at all. If we look at this, the Crown Prince, Rhaegar, is currently besieging our castle and town of Duskendale, and our good friends House Hollard are also being besieged by Lord Desmond of Bitterbridge, and Birchall has already fallen to Brynden Tully in his army of Riverlanders. Now, there's also a couple of good messages. We have a couple of Valemen under the command of Lord Mark II, who currently siege High Tide over here in Driftmark. And we also have 12,000 Valemen under the command of Sir Nestor Royce marching on Dari. And I believe we also have Stark forces about to cross the neck. But this is just too far away, and even then too little to fight all of these troops who are already in our lands. And obviously the Stormlands and the Reach can field way more men as well as Dawn, and they're all standing against us. So I think it is time for us to sue for peace. Now, luckily, we have the Hand of the King, Prince Rhaegar, who's currently leading the siege of our city. So perhaps we can sue for peace with him, but we are no man who just gives in. We are a proud lord with a proud lord of Duskendale. So we're not just going to give in meekly and surrender our castle. No, we demand things, and I will tell you what we demand in a second. Now, here are our peace terms. So first of all, we demand a royal pardon for ourselves, but also for the Lords Arryn and Stark, and obviously everyone who has supported them. So obviously also for our bannermen and the bannermen of the Vale and the North. Secondly, we demand the town charter for the city of Duskendale that we already demanded from King Aerys. So basically that means we're gonna get town markets built in the city. Furthermore, we demand that our cousin and current heir, Perkin Darklyn, will replace Quain Gaunt and take his place in the Kingsguard, because we do want to have Darklyn family members in the Kingsguard. And lastly, because we're a very, very ambitious man, we demand all the lands from Rook's Rest to North Crackla to be under our control. Now, if they, and with they I mean the Crown Prince Rhaegar, will refuse these terms, we are determined to kill our prisoner, King Aerys. We're gonna kill him. We have several ways to kill him, and we're gonna find a good way to do this. So if they refuse, we're gonna kill them. But now I'm gonna tell you a secret. If these guys will accept our peace terms, we will have Perkin Darklyn poison the king when he travels back to King's Landing. Now, we have currently given the king some medication, you could call it, to make him a little bit dizzy. So he's not going to notice much until he leaves the castle. And once he's in King's Landing, he's gonna die of poisoning. And hopefully Perkin will be able to do this, because here's the thing. If we give in and Aerys lives, we will not live. He's gonna come back for us, but with a greater host. We're not gonna be able to imprison him once again. So we will have to make sure that the king dies. But obviously that's something we cannot tell his son Rhaegar, because he would never accept. But yeah, so those are our peace terms, and we'll see if the Crown Prince will accept these terms. So I'll be right back. As you can see, 1 day has passed, and we have answer from the Hand of the King, Prince Rhaegar. Now, we actually made a little bit of a miscalculation, because if we have a look at Prince Rhaegar, he could not care less about the siege of Driftmark. Now, the Stark forces have now landed as well on Driftmark, but he is rival to Lord Lysaris of Driftmark. He couldn't care less about the siege. In fact, he actually likes this. He likes to see Lucerys Velaryon suffer. So this was a big miscalculation. Also, he says he is going to take our castle by storm, and he's going to kill us all. However, Prince Rhaegar has a gentle heart, and he has proposed that we could take the Black, and if we're fast enough and get to the wall before King Aerys fully recovers, we will be out of reach of his wrath. But he did say that someone's gonna have to die. So that's probably, and that person will probably be Simon Hollard, the one who killed the Kingsguard Gwen, because someone will have to pay for this. And if we want to save our neck, then we have the chance to get to the wall. But well, that just doesn't seem like an option to me. I have to admit. So this is obviously a little bit of a problem. However, Rhaegar has said that he will accept our surrender. He's going to give us 1 day to, well, consider his offer. And we were able to ride out to him in his tent, and he's going to accept our surrender, basically. Now, a couple of interesting things have happened, though. We have been told by our messenger that the Crown Prince Rhaegar, is actually maimed. Now, he must have gotten this maiming. He may have taken an arrow to the knee during a skirmish. I'm not entirely sure what has happened, but he is maimed. So his willpower may be a little bit, well, if not broken, at least bent. He's still a brave man, but this wound could help us out if we were to parley. Now, also, we have found out some very interesting information from our mother. We have heard some very interesting tales, because our spy master, our mother, has found out that Prince Rhaegar is in fact leading a faction to depose his father, King Aerys II. And that is very interesting, and that also kind of explains why he doesn't really care about his father that much, why he would even storm the castle, even though that would mean the death of his father. Apparently there's not much love between these two, and of course it does make sense. After all, if his father dies, who would be the new king? Of course, Rhaegar would be the new king of the Iron Throne. So that gave me an idea. What if we were to tell him of our plan to poison the king, and perhaps, well, we could persuade him to release us if we were to help him on the throne. But that is something we can only find out if we talk to him. So we will ride out to him, meet him. We are a brave man, and he's not gonna kill us immediately. We still have the king as our insurance. So we're gonna ride out to meet him and parley with him, and we'll see if it's possible for us to broker a peace deal here. So I'll be right back. Now, as you can see, the war is over, and we are still alive to see the end of this war. But what has happened? So apparently the peace negotiations have been a success. Now I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So we rode out to meet Prince Rhaegar in his tent. And what happened was we confronted him that we know about his faction, that he is a faction leader trying to depose his father. And we offered him to get rid of his father so that he may ascend the throne. But obviously he would have to pardon us for this. Now, Rhaegar was keen, he was listening, and the only thing he really demanded was that if his father were to die, someone had to die for it as well, because otherwise people may have seen him as a usurper or even call him a kinslayer, which is obviously quite detrimental to his reputation, or would be detrimental to his reputation. So someone out there would have to take the blame, and, well, that would have to be me. But we came up with an idea to make everything a little bit better for us. So what happened was we killed the king and we poisoned him. And as you know, poison is the weapon of women or cravens. Now, clearly we're neither. We're obviously a man, and we're also a brave man at that. So nobody would expect us if the king would die of poison. However, as I said, poison is the weapon of women. And so what we did was we blamed the death of the king on our, at that time, regent, Sarella. So basically the story is, while we rode out to, surrender, basically, to Rhaegar Targaryen, our wife, as regent, poisoned the king because she is so ambitious. She was so ambitious, she did not want us to surrender. So she killed the king, and after we heard of this, we imprisoned her and executed her for that. And because we then executed the killer of the king, Prince Rhaegar, who was then the new king after his father died, pardoned us. Basically, that is the story. Now, it doesn't seem like a really good scheme necessarily, but you have to consider that Sarella was worshipping a foreign god, she was a foreigner, and nobody liked her. Nobody knew who she was and why I married her in the first place. And after becoming a religious zealot, a very devoted Faith of the Seven follower, I didn't even know why I married her in the first place. So that's why we got rid of her, and she basically took the blame for the death. Now, we also got something else out of this war. We have been granted the town charter that we asked for. Prince Rhaegar was very generous, so he allowed us to get the town charter in Duskendale. So this looks like this. We now have town markets here, and we also had to build the village farms, otherwise would not have been able to get the town markets. And also we have gained a castle town in the Dunford. So that makes us all the more richer, and basically makes the city of Duskendale much more prosperous, which is very good. But this is not all. We have also gotten the promise from Prince Rhaegar that he will turn a blind eye if we were to take Rook's Rest. And the reason behind this is that House Staunton was the only house in the Crown Lands that did not join against us and did not side with the Targaryens. So he kind of sees these guys as traitors, as unloyal people, and therefore he would turn a blind eye if we were to take them. Now, he didn't give us control over them directly because, we are officially still considered somewhat of traitors. We have been pardoned, but we're still, he still doesn't believe us or have trust in us. And that is also the reason why our current heir and cousin, Perkin, is in King's Landing. Now, unfortunately, he did not become a Kingsguard. He is a hostage in King's Landing. So that is obviously a problem. And because of that, we had to swear fealty to King Rhaegar, and we have joined the Crown Loyalist faction. So we will stay in this Crown Loyalist faction and basically help him out as long as our heir, Perkin, is in his domain, is a captive of his. Now, King Rhaegar really needs loyal men because, as you can see, there's other factions rising up. Stefan Baratheon wants to install himself as Lord Paramount, as King of the Iron Throne, and also the rival of Rhaegar, Lucerys Velaryon, wants to depose Rhaegar. So the young king is in quite a lot of trouble, but that does not concern me too much. We have gained at least a little bit of what we wanted. Obviously, we didn't get all of the lands, but those were some very ambitious terms. So I'm actually quite happy with what we have gotten. But at the same time, Rhaegar is king, so he also benefited from this peace deal, or from the Defiance of Duskendale. He benefited as well. Now, a couple of other things that have happened. Now that we have killed our wife, she's been executed by us, we need to find a new wife. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have to get us ambition to get married. And I already have had a look at possible candidates to marry. And I think we're going to marry Jane Derry. She's 14 years old, and she's the youngest daughter of Lord Willem Derry, the Lord of the Bay of Claws. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to marry her, and that's going to be amazing. So let's arrange that marriage and send that offer. There you go. So he's going to accept. Very good. We're even going to get a little bit of prestige for marrying into House Darklyn. Good. Now, that is obviously going to secure alliance with the Bay of Claws right here, who are the biggest, one of the biggest lords here in that area. Obviously, we have Harrenhal bordering us, and then we have Rosby to the south, but that should help us in our future conquest against, you know, the lords of Krakla, of that Krakla Point. Now, also, well, that's just, well, something I would like to let you guys know. I have console commanded Simon Hollard into my court, simply because he should actually be in my court, obviously, because he was present when the king arrived, so he should also be present now. So basically, we're just gonna award him honorary title and make him one of our bodyguards. Now that's pretty cool. Also, I have sent my castellan now, John Hollard, to oversee the province because we no longer need to improve our defenses, and our Justicer is obviously fabricating on Rook's Rest now. And as soon as we get the claim, we are able to get the county because, as I said, Rhaegar promised us to turn a blind eye, so we can just take over Rook's Rest without him interfering, basically. Now, since Perkin Darklyn is not in the Kingsguard, you may wonder who has taken the spot in the Kingsguard that was left vacant by the death of Gwaine Gaunt, and it is actually Rhaegar's best friend, Sir Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning. He is now the newest knight of the Kingsguard, and obviously a formidable fighter, and probably one of the best knights around at the moment. And yeah, that is basically everything. But one nice little touch is our nickname. We are now known as Lord Dennis the Defiant. So I thought that would be something very cool. And obviously, we now have to choose a focus. And I think that we have been dedicated to the warrior, and the warrior has guided us through this war. So I think we're going to focus on theology now. We had tried rulership, but that was a little bit difficult during the war, but now we're completely devoted to the faith, and so we want to study some theology there. Okay, other than that, I think we're going to go forward. One more thing though, I had a look at formidable fighters, formidable knights who might want to join our court, and Sir Bonifer the Good, after hearing of our devotion to the faith of the Seven, he very much likes us, so he would like to join our court, and I was going to invite him. He's a formidable fighter, and he's going to make a great addition to our court. Now, also, we have to establish a household guard, and we're going to do that right now. So and we have taken a loan, apparently. That's why I have so much money. I didn't know where that was coming from. Okay, so we've repaid that loan. Yeah, I really didn't know where that was coming from. Okay, establish that. Great, so we now have a household guard, and we need to appoint a commander, a captain of the household guard. And we're obviously going to appoint Sir Simon Hollard. Although he is technically a craven, but he has slain a Kingsguard, so he's obviously very powerful. And we need a new regent, and I think as regent we're going to pick our castellan, John Hollard. There you go. And Master of Horse, we're going to pick Clayton, Lord of Birchall. Master of Hunt, we will pick Jarman, Brindlewood. High Almoner, we could pick our Septon. Yes, I think High Almoner, the Septon makes sense. And we need a cupbearer as well. I think as cupbearer, we will pick our Maester or our Captain of Household Guard. No, I think we're going to pick... it's actually a question. Who will we pick? You are Master of Hunt. You are Justicer. You will be my cupbearer. There you go. Alright. So we've given out a lot of titles, and now we will... Oh, call court out of hiding. Yes, of course, we will do that as well. So let's go forward. Minimal feudal tax. And since we are... Yes, we have sworn fealty to him, so we will have to approve this. Okay. To the noble Lord Dennis, you should be happy to know that I, King Rhaegar, will be holding a coronation ceremony, and he's inviting us. Of course, we will write him that I will attend. Perkin Darklyn is now a new heir, yes. And your wisdom, mercy, legend, I feel it would not be in mind for Perkin to marry Leona. Oh, yeah, I did not, that was the AI. So obviously I had to switch it on a little bit so that all the things would work out. So the AI messed up a little bit, but nothing too important. We could actually also find someone for Perkin to marry, but I haven't had really a look into this. Oh, what's this? I accept your suggestion, so Jane Derry is now married to us. Lovely. That is very good. Alright. So, we have fulfilled our ambition, and now we Probably, yes. So we want a new heir. We want an heir who is not a hostage or a captive. So we want to have a son. So let's make that our ambition. And we have a we have Lady Jane. Now, what do we lack? We personally lack diplomacy as well as intrigue. So we're going to have to find us someone who can teach her something about that. Okay, let's intrigue. So that would be Jarman Brindlewood. He's nothing at the moment. Okay. He wants to become spy master though. Oh well. Now, that was that. I hope that you guys actually like this, but I have to say, I honestly like how this went. Wundari has sent you the dowry that was due, and I must say it was most generous. Wow, much gold. Wow, a generous dowry, 100 gold. That is pretty impressive. And there is Bonifer the Good. He has joined our court basically. So we're gonna make him a bodyguard as well. So there you go. We can hold a wedding feast, and that's exactly what we will do. Dennis the Defiant has led his house to glory, basically. And yeah, we're still gonna have to find a good wife for our good old Perkin Darklyn, but we're gonna do that in a next episode. This was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did so, don't forget to like the video, and if this is the first video you have seen on the channel, also subscribe to, stay updated and stay tuned for new updates. Anyways, I'll see you next time.